How's it going, everybody? It is February 23rd. I'm going to take a few minutes and talk about the advertising campaigns that I've tested, and also take this opportunity to show you guys what your thoughts were. What the thoughts were prior to running the campaign, and then what kind of the discussion that we've had just through a couple of conversations on YouTube. So I'll include those comments from some of you that have left those comments talking about, like I said, what the expectation is and then how you run your ads. I think this actually generated a pretty good discussion because it proved to me right off the bat that throwing money at things is not the wisest thing to do. And not just from I don't even know how to put it, not like from a strategic uh, planning angle, but also just isn't wise because it doesn't generate any results. Let me set up the topic here for some of you guys that haven't actually been following most of the videos over the last week or so, or 2 weeks. I decided to run an ad for a random T-shirt that had sales. It wasn't a new product or anything. It had a few reviews. It had a number of organic sales. It was getting anywhere from 10 to 15 sales a month, and I decided to run put $50 into an ad and run it for 24 hours without deactivating it. So what happened is actually, so this would be the one that we're looking at. Uh, what happened was basically it's still delivering. It's still delivering with a budget of only $2 a day. But the first 48 hours, my plan was to do 24 hours, but there was no activity. So then I extended the test to 48 hours, and these were the results. Spent $9.44 out of the 50. Zero sales, of course, zero return on ad spent, and 1,010 impressions. So basically, it was a big bust. It didn't spend a lot of that money, but I mean, it spent almost $10, uh, on nothing, just impressions. Now, as as I was doing this, people were forming their opinions, and I'll go into that in a second. But once I put this video out, and as I was kind of going through it, people were telling me where I went wrong. So they were saying, you know what, it was the product, right? So you got to switch the product. And then some people were saying, well, it didn't spend the money because you didn't have an end date. So if you're gonna run a test for 24 hours, then set the end date to be 24 hours from the activation time. So I did. I ran two more tests. So for this one, this is $50, 24 hours, no end date, and then I have another one here. And I use the exact same product for this one and this one. So for those two, for that one day, I actually had a $100 budget for these two ads, 50 for one, 50 for the other. Same product, and these were the results. The results were uh, even worse than for this one here. 53 cents spent, 33 impressions on the one with no end date. So this is a continuous one. Right now it's paused because I'm done with this. This was just a test. And then the one, again, keep in mind, same auto ads, same auto options and everything, uh, ends in 24 hours. Nothing. Zero spent, 11 impressions. So from that, what I've concluded is throwing money at ads, Amazon ads, is not the answer. It doesn't even matter. You can make this $100, $200. It's not gonna get spent. It's gonna get spent maybe at certain times. If if your bid is like $5, that's it's gonna burn through it right away. But if you're just following Amazon's recommendations, even on um, the budget, it's not gonna get spent. This is what you're gonna get. So let's talk about this. So these comments are directly from YouTube, and it's kind of weird the way that I had to organize it because it goes from bottom up we'll read, but then these ones actually come after this page. So anyways, I'll just kind of take you guys through it. So there were a number of opinions, and I won't go into these details too much because some of the ones later on actually break down some of the ad campaigns that you guys have run. But here's some of the opinions. This is just as I put out the video and activated the first ad. Jim here says, is it weird that I'm the only that I'm one of the people is it weird that I'm one of the people that this, I guess, that thinks that this will actually get you 11 plus sales, which will mean that you have made a profit? There's no way why this doesn't get you some sales. It has to. So the opinion was, and the reason, if I do the math correctly here, in the video, I mentioned that my profit was $5 per sale, which would mean that, in order to break even with spending those $50 on ads, I would have to get 10 sales. So I'm assuming this is what he means by saying 11 plus sales. So Jim here thought, you know what, this has to get you some sales, and actually thought that, get 10 sales. Let's go with this one. I think this one actually, I think this is because it says 8 days ago, that means that it was probably in one of my other videos where I announced the test. So just having a budget of $50 a day will not get you $50 worth of clicks. Amazon will try its hardest to push your products in front of eyes, but there is a bidding system on Amazon which is working against that process. So if you have a cost per click of 45 cents, but that niche on average has a cost per click of $1, even though you have a $50 budget, your product is not going to be shown because it's not winning the bid. So Amazon can't spend that money. So that's actually a great point. Once I read that, I actually changed the strategy for the ad where I increased the bid per click based on Amazon's recommendation, and I went even above the highest recommended. The only way you're going to get Amazon to spend $50 is to have a high cost per click, which means you have to increase your bid price, and that is going to be the only way you're going to spend, I guess, the $50. I didn't load the rest of the comment. So this was a very good point, and I actually did take that into consideration when I activated. Same person here says, I'll make a prediction for you. So this is once I actually read the ran the ad and uploaded that I was actually running it, and we were expecting results within 24 hours. Assuming that you are winning most of the bid time for the entirety of 24 hours, my prediction is that you'll get somewhere between 50 to 72 clicks. That will be about 0.5% click-through rate. I predict that you'll get somewhere between 8,000 and 14,000 impressions. I think the dollar sign here is a mistake. And of the predicted 72 clicks, I imagine you'll probably have, I guess, between 5 and 10 sales. This is all assuming that it doesn't have a huge learning curve for your product. So again, some optimism here with the number of sales, but I actually agree with this now that the kind of the experiment is done. More than anything, I think the learning curve here it has to be much longer than the 24 or 48 hours, and I believe that the time frame here was the big mistake in thinking that there's going to be some kind of a result or something huge will happen in those 24 or 48 hours. It's going to be interesting. I thought so. Amazon will spend your $50 well before 24 hours. You're going to lose on this campaign. So I always thought that was a possibility, but no, we didn't even come close. So I think maybe if the ad was live for much longer, and I'm talking weeks, I think that I would get to a point where $50 a day would be spent. Again, it would have to be in a certain time with a certain bid amount and a certain product. So for example, if we were to run ads for St. Patrick's Day in a week or two, I think that's when there's a possibility that your $50 a day will be spent. So let's go again. We have to go bottom up because that's how these uh, comments are posted in on the YouTube dashboard. So Ollie here says, I think you'll probably spend about $7 with 5 to 6 clicks. It takes a while for campaigns to understand what's inside, so it's unlikely to do much in just 24 hours. Expect for potluck keywords, but fingers crossed you get some sales. Best plan is to leave it for a few weeks at $2 a day, then ramp up when the campaign has loads of keywords associated with it. So Ollie here was actually the closest when it comes to predicting, because this was just I remember reading this comment maybe an hour after I put out the result video. So this is pretty much what happened, and I am actually doing what Ollie mentioned here because I'm gonna let it go for a few weeks for $2 a day, and then maybe we can try this experiment again. But I definitely don't want to lose the keywords and everything. Um, you can put even $200 per day, nothing will happen. A couple people were asking why. I think there was an explanation. For some reason that comment wouldn't load and it's not even visible on the video, but I did read it at the time and there was an explanation. It pretty much summarizes everything we talked about. Uh, I would make sure that you also include the keywords into your negative targeting. This is actually a very good point. So for that experiment, I didn't want to do anything like this, but for an actual ad, I think this is a great point. There are a certain set of keywords that you can probably just include as negative targeting by default, just so that Amazon doesn't even try to serve them. I agree. And also I agree on the keywords. Keywords like shirt, black shirt, cool shirts, funny shirts, etc. These are generally too broad of keywords and they tend not to convert very well. And Amazon tends to like to go after these keywords by default just because they are searched a lot, but they just don't confirm very well. The more negative keywords you can get, the more. Sorry, the video just cut out here, so I'm gonna have to continue recording and then join the two videos. But basically, I was just ending here and basically reading the last sentence. The more negative keywords you can get, the more optimized and direct targeting you will get from Amazon. So it's very important that you actually have a pretty defined list of negative words even before you initiate the campaign. This is a great point, especially if you're running an ongoing campaign and actually doing this strategically. We'll get right into this comment from the same person because it goes into the way that he or she likes to set up campaigns. So let me just read this to you guys. The way I like to set up campaigns for products is to use 3 campaigns. And I'll read this, but you guys can, because it takes a few, especially if you're getting into ads for the first time. This is actually very good and very strategic. So I'll read it out to you guys, but you can read it over and over until you completely get what's happening here. One campaign will be an auto campaign. The next campaign will be a keyword campaign. In the last campaign will be a product campaign. The auto campaign feeds the keyword campaign and the product campaigns with the new keywords and the new ASINs. In the keyword campaign, I like to have 2 ad groups. The first ad group is an exact keyword match, and the second ad group is a broad keyword match. And you'll use the broad keyword match to find more keywords that convert, and then you'll include that into the exact keyword match. So I actually like that approach, completely agree with it. That's what I'm doing with some of my actual personal ads, like other ones that I'm not posting on YouTube as an experiment. Then you'll do something similar with the product campaign. You'll have the product campaign with 2 ad groups. The first ad group will be a targeted ASIN ad group, and the other ad group will be a category targeted ad group. You'll use the category targeted ad group to target that category as a whole, which will help you discover new ASINs that may actually convert your product, to which you can move to the targeted ASIN ad group. The goal of this structure is to really have a strong target keyword and targeted product ad groups so that you know what is actually converting and you're not really guessing. Excellent point. And like I said, if you're new to actually running ads and setting up campaigns, read this over and over again and try it out. Try it out on multiple products, because This has been my claim since the beginning. This is what you have to do, and over time, perfecting those ads until you get a reasonable return on ads spent, because there's no point of actually throwing money at ads, especially with automatic ads, that are not going to get you results. Now, I'm not saying that they won't over time. Sometimes it has to be months, but this is an actual uh, strategic way to running ads, and especially successful ads. Anybody who thinks that ads are easy because all you have to do is advertise your product, literally like put money into them, is wrong. This is the right approach. Jason Max, I really thought Amazon would quickly spend your $50. I think the only reason they didn't is because you are being outbid. Other people are probably paying $4 per bid, and your 115 bid can't compete. Ads are not cheap anymore. Too many people competing, jacking up the bids. Now, I don't disagree with that. I think I actually don't even know if $4 per bid or $5 per bid would generate anything. I'm actually, and at this point, is $4 or $5 per bid even wise? Because I mean, that's just a bid, and if your profit margin is between $4 and $5, you will never make that money back, right? Unless later on, once your ad is extremely successful, and if the bid goes down, that's when you start making money. But this, just from a kind of like a uh, financial planning, uh, this structure doesn't make sense, because you will not be uh, making money with that profit margin. Now, if you're going to be, if you have a $4 bid, and your profit margin is $30 to $50, I can see that. But we're talking about t-shirts here, and spending anything more than $2 per bid, even that is just like way too risky, and you want the bid to be as low as possible. So in summary, uh, my opinion from the results that I've seen, throwing money at this when it comes to a short term uh, campaign and expecting results, this will not work. Now I'm gonna definitely try something similar with St. Patrick's Day. I have a number of ads that have been running a few bucks a day for the last couple of weeks. No successful, for example, return on ad spent or anything like that, but they have been collecting information, and then at the right time I'm gonna bump up the daily budget. But I'm also gonna try something similar with, again, a St. Patrick's Day product during the prime time selling period. And again, you can look at this information through many things, like even just looking on Google Trends. But again, like I have Merch Informer, there's other tools that you can use specifically for Amazon, and to get that kind of information. So far, I mean, I'm glad I did this experiment. I think it had answered a lot of our questions. I think, people had a bunch of theories, and some of us were wrong. One person was right. Some people were half right, half wrong. Uh, but at least we did it. So anyways, if you guys have any other questions or thoughts or cool ideas for experiments, let me know. We'll do it. And but for now, all I can say is thank you. Thanks for the involvement, and I'll talk to you guys soon.